On the Block with Strick and Nate.
Things get a little heated on a Wednesday. It's hump day. We're getting animated. The college football playoff is out. Nick is saying that Clemson and myself are both frauds. I don't know. It's a big part of the discussion now. They're throwing up the handshake emoji. There's a lot to talk about, Strick, and we're going to break it down throughout the entire show. We're going to have Evan Bland on. We're going to have some shootout with Strick. Buy or sell NBA style, a little Nebraska football talk. Mickey Joseph officially getting spoken to, talked to, however you want to interpret the situation. Arizona State, they've got their eye on him. And then we're going to talk some more college football playoffs. Start out the next hour. Jay Foreman's going to step in, and he's going to join us. They're still doing the handshake emoji over there in the other studio. They do not like my defense of Clemson. So you know what? Tell me if I'm wrong. My name's Dave Brennan.
Savagery in here.
Eric Strickland. You're listening on the block. 93
Hump Day Wednesday.
Hump Day. It is Hump Day. 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline. Starter Heyman text line. Let us know your thoughts because there's a lot to unpack in this one. Again, we have Evan Bland coming up here in just a few minutes. We're going to break down some Nebraska talk. I know that's still at the top of everyone's mind because if you want to make a bowl game, this is probably a must-win. So we're going to have him break it down for us. Again, we're getting some NBA talk, lots to talk about. But let's break it down, Strick. You were being a little bit quiet. You were kind of
taking it all in,
letting everything filter out because it got a little bit heated in here because call me an ACC homer. Call me whatever you want. Clemson's strength of schedule just as good as Michigan's. I'm not a big fan of the clown memes. I take offense to it personally because my Hokies are in the ACC. And Thomas and Lincoln says TCU should be 5th. Michigan should be 4th. Clemson should be 6th. Alabama should be 7th. I'm with you on TCU being 5th. I think you need to swap Michigan and Clemson. Again, I've got Clemson in my playoff. They've won more games against ranked opponents. That's going to be my barometer in that one. So, Strick, what do you think? First college football playoff coming out. Your just initial reactions.
Initial reactions is, I would say, surprising. I understand the point for Clemson. Right now, I think it's very marginal. Like there's some close aspects to them with regards to how they played their schedule.
And I agree with that.
I really do look at the Michigan situation. It is a must win against Ohio State for them to even have an inkling of a chance, right?
Yeah.
The reason being is I think that Michigan's non-conference schedule was just abysmal.
It's booty.
It's doo-doo brown.
It's bad.
Right?
It is very doo-doo.
When you're looking at Colorado State, Hawaii, UConn, and then
come on, man, really?
And then truly, I really do think Penn State's fraudulent. And so
I agree.
For me, that's not necessarily a big win.
And you were at home.
But
you weren't going into the sea of white or whatever they call over there.
Right.
Where they do all the white pom-poms and all that.
They're going to get a shot at Illinois, and I think that's going to actually be a better game than most people would think. Just because I think there's two tremendous defenses that'll be facing each other, with both running game aspirations, where they're going to press with Corum, and then you're going to have Chase Brown, who is going to be pushing the running envelope. I think that Michigan has better receivers, and so I think, in a one-on-one matchup, which is probably going to be it's going to be a lot of 8-man box stuff. I think it's going to be a good game. So they have to win out. Michigan to have a chance, they've got to beat Michigan. They're not going to leapfrog anybody.
There won't be two Big Ten
if they don't beat.
They
went that route before, and they saw what that looked like. That's not going to happen.
I agree.
So that's something that to look at. I think the one that's really disappointing to me right now is the TCU situation.
I agree.
I actually think TCU is getting shafted right now. Yeah. That's just my opinion on that. But Nicholas Thickless wants to jump in.
Is he jumping in?
That is not my name anymore.
Has it been retired?
Okay, so speaking of TCU, what would Texas be ranked if they had TCU's resume?
They'd be in the top.
I think they'd be in the 4.
They'd be in the 4.
That's what
I agree. I agree.
That tells you everything you need to know, right?
No. That's all I need.
So that's why I think it's a committee situation.
It's a committee problem.
I think it's a committee problem.
It's not even the playoff model problem. No, it's a committee problem.
But I also think,
and it goes back to what? Moolah.
But I think the point still stands in the sense that TCU controls their own destiny. While I agree with Nick in the sense that Texas has the same resume, all that lined up. You could throw Oklahoma into that mix too, Strick. I think if Oklahoma has the same resume, same lineup, they would be in the top
They'd be in
four.
there too.
But I think in the sense, Cincinnati was a different story because I think if you're a group of 5 school and you go undefeated, you can and will get left out. And I think rightfully so. But you look at a team like TCU, you control your own destiny. Is it crummy that you have to go undefeated while Alabama can lose 1 game, maybe lose 2, depending on the SEC championship, how it works out? Yeah. But if you go undefeated, the committee is going to have to answer a lot of questions if they leave you out.
Yeah.
Because then, get rid of the conferences then. Scrap it.
Can I throw something out here, Nate, into the Sutter Heyman text line?
Yeah.
And if you think I'm crazy, please shout out 402-464-5685. Throw it out at me because here's the thing. For some reason, I think there's going to be scandal, and I think it's going to be set up for scandal. And here's why. I think they want to really push it quickly and expeditiously towards an expanded model in a shift that also moves you into a conglomerate of super conferences.
So they're going to basically make TCU an example.
If it comes down to it, it's probably going to come down to something like that. I think it's going to be a scandalous situation that's going to happen.
Interesting.
Because when you look at it, right, just go back to the history.
Interesting.
Just go back to the history, right? Go back to, like you say, BCS. Just go back to even prior to BCS.
Yeah.
There was always seemingly a multitude of scandals that creeped up in the mix that kind of pushed you or kind of positioned you to want to move to the next level of whatever that is going to be. It was always that. Seemed to always be some scandal. And so I don't think that this is different. I think it's going to happen. And I just don't know who is going to be the culprit and who's going to be the one that's going to be left out in the open on it.
Right.
But I think it's going to happen.
Because that's the situation too, is there's always one team that's left out. The only thing, though, is like I keep saying, it always ends up playing itself out. Now, how that's going to look this year with possibly, I guess, 3 undefeated teams, like that's the other thing, too, is say TCU runs the table, say Tennessee runs the table, say Clemson runs the table, say Ohio State does. Like that answers it for you. But then you have 4 schools all in different conferences, all undefeated. Then what do you do with the Georgia?
Yeah.
Then what do you do with an Alabama? Then what do you do with the Michigan? It's a lot of different moving pieces.
Yeah, Deion says it. I think too. I mean, it's going to be a baby NFL. It's going to be super conferences. It's going to be a baby NFL.
And especially this year, if they do make an example. The only thing that Deion says too, Alabama would eat Horned Frog legs. While I agree with you, I just don't think you can leave out an undefeated Power 5.
Unfortunately,
with
the way the system's set up,
with the way it's set up, you can't. Yeah. Like if you only have 4 schools, you can't leave them out. But who knows? We're going to dive into this a little bit more again. We got to get Evan Bland on, talk some Nebraska football, talk some Mickey Joseph. Big game this weekend, and then we'll probably hop back on this conversation because lots to dissect with this first college football ranking. We'll get right to it. But again, stay with us on the block, 93.7 The Ticket.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 9th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and Brant Excavate. Bagels and Joe has a brand new location in Seward, and it's open for business. Get ready for the fall with pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, pumpkin cream cheese, and a pumpkin pie smoothie. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations and now in Seward. It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. you can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Hey guys, Nick Sadert here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Spine and Sports Chiropractic. I experienced a herniated disc in my lower back a few years ago, and thanks to the folks at Spine and Sports, I got back to feeling 100%. At Spine and Sports, they use the active release technique, which involves the soft tissue and can alleviate headaches, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, and more. What I like most about the ART method is that your doctor will construct a plan that fits your needs because the technique is not a cookie-cutter approach. Allow Spine and Sports Chiropractic to help you feel better. Set up your appointment today by giving them a call at 402-261-6841.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
You want to join a team of industry leaders, a team where you can learn and grow, a team that treats you right. Well, don't hesitate to look at all the great career opportunities at Acres Equipment, the largest John Deere dealer network in Nebraska. We offer industry-leading wages, state-of-the-art benefits, and a great culture that focuses on both our customers and our employees. Find your next career opportunity at acres.com/careers.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go Big Brandt.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Warm and windy here for your Wednesday. We could see near record warmth as we'll see a high of 79. South winds could gust 35 to 40. A few passing clouds this afternoon, a few lingering clouds tonight, a low down to 58. We'll see a high tomorrow of 75 with a chance of evening thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A little bit of a chaotic start to this Wednesday. I came in heated. Nick came in heated. Rico came in heated, and as Strick does, he kind of just stirred the pot. So we're having fun here today. My name is Dave Brennan. He's the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet Eric Strickland. You're listening to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket. 402-464-5685. Starter him and text line Honda of Lincoln hotline. You can also check out what's going on here in studio on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Interact with us on all of those platforms. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, give us a shout out, all of that good stuff. We greatly appreciate all of you. And we're going to head to the Honda of Lincoln hotline where we have one of our favorites joining us now, Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, how you doing?
try not to get blown over by the wind and the raging leaf storm outside, but otherwise hanging in.
It is a leaf storm.
Yeah, it's brisky, windy. But the beautiful thing about it though is it's 77 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
Take advantage because it's gonna shift like these college rankings are right now.
Ooh, what a segue.
You peeped that? You caught that one?
That was pretty good. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it before we dive into some Husker talk. Evan, the college football playoff rankings come out. What do you think? Do you have any issue to any of the ranking?
Well, first of all, when these rankings start coming around, it sort of reminds me of like, man, sometimes doesn't it feel like Nebraska is like at a different sport? I mean, wouldn't it be fun for Nebraska to be part of these rankings and be in these discussions? And it feels like a whole world away at some points. But no, it's cool. It's there so much has to play itself out on the field still, of course. And most of these rankings at this point are sort of content fillers for ESPN. But I think to me the takeaways from these rankings are you get an insight into what the committee values in finding a path to that college football playoff. And yeah, it's going to expand from 4 to 12 here in the next couple of years, but you start to see things like the way that they treat a one-loss Alabama against an undefeated TCU, and to say that, you would put Alabama higher because TCU has had to come back or it's been in a dicier position in some of its games. To me, it's sort of a head scratcher. And again, like a lot of it'll kind of take care of itself. And if TCU takes care of business and wins the Big 12, I think that they'll be in anyway. But it's sort of the I guess the reasoning and the legit just the logic gymnastics that you have to go through to make a case for some of these teams at this point is kind of funny.
Yeah, I think it'd be very fascinating if the committee found a way to leave TCU out despite being undefeated, but I don't see that happening. But again, we'll see. Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald, joining us right now. Evan, I got to ask you, Logan Smothers, he enters the game, finishes out the first half. Chubba Purdy struggles, and we still don't see Logan Smothers for the rest of the game. How do you interpret the quarterback situation going into this game against Minnesota if Casey Thompson isn't able to go?
Well, it's not good, right? I mean, we saw that, how the second half played out when you have whatever it was, 29 yards after half. It's not a great spot. You've got a guy in Chubba Purdy who Mark Whipple today, comes out and says that he didn't practice toward the end of last week and he was hurt and he wasn't sure now in hindsight if he should have played him. I mean, that's not what you want to hear from a guy who's going to have to jump in there and be that guy. Logan Smothers, sort of the book on him has been the same from whether it was Mario Verduzco, whether that was Matt Lubick, whether now that's Mark Whipple, and they love his legs, they love the speed, they love his command of the offense and kind of knowing where to go, but they don't love his throwing motion or his arm or whatever it might be in terms of the passing game. So they feel limited there. And then, you add to the fact that Mark Whipple wants to air it out. You add to the fact that, Purdy was sort of his handpicked transfer in the off season. Really the only reason Chubba Purdy is here is because of the relationship he had previously with Mark Whipple when they were elsewhere. So, I think that's probably the way that it's trending this week, is that we'll see Chubba Purdy start on Saturday. I know they haven't ruled out Casey Thompson, and Logan Smothers continues to split those reps in practice. But I think just from what the coaches say, I would imagine it'll be Purdy, and it's sort of a different deal with him where he is an energetic guy. He's someone that Mickey Joseph said they feel like they're going to have to talk to more, remind about situations on every play, which is a lot different from a guy like Casey Thompson, who, lives in the film room and has been sort of renowned for the time that he spends and the preparation that he's had in there. So you wonder if a little extra help, a little extra preparation can make a difference for Purdy. But, again, you look on the other side and see what Minnesota's done statistically, one of the best defenses in the country. They have an offense that's going to play keep away from you too. So it's definitely a tall task for Nebraska this weekend.
What do you think the confusion was? Because in speaking with the media, or some of the conversations before they went, I think maybe into halftime, they were talking about Smothers, coming back or seeing more of him, and then we didn't see not another inkling of him. Where do you think that confusion came from? Do you think it came from the injury situation possibly, or is there schism within, between Mickey and Coach Whipple? Yeah. That.
Well, I think what Whipple said today was that the reason that Smothers was in there immediately after the injury was they weren't sure what Purdy's status was necessarily. So in the immediate necessity of having to have someone out there, they went with Smothers. And then, Whipple said at half, he looked Purdy in the eyes and said, "Are you ready?" And he felt like he was. But in hindsight, he clearly wasn't in a lot of ways. So I still don't know why you don't at least give Smothers a look.
Right.
And the way the second half's going out, you didn't have much to lose at that point. Purdy clearly was off on a lot of his throws and clearly making some decisions. You think about that interception near the red zone too. So I don't know, why they didn't necessarily give him, another look down the stretch there. But again, I think maybe one of the challenges is the skill set. Again, like Smothers, they feel, and coaches have said this a lot, they feel like he's an option guy, somebody that they can run the ball with more. And that's a big shift from what they've been doing under Mark Whipple, sort of airing it out, medium and deep throws. And you think about the struggles that the offensive line has had to this point in just protecting Casey Thompson, you wonder what the confidence level is in asking them to switch it up and to start blocking again, in more of an option style running attack as opposed to what they have been doing. So I think all that sort of plays into it. And again, the comfort level that Whipple has with Purdy as that number two probably factors in as well. But the coaches too, guys, and this is interesting, I think, have been really clear, both Mickey Joseph and Whipple, that they feel like as much as a drop off as maybe there has been from Casey Thompson to Purdy, they feel like there's an even bigger one beyond that with injuries and some younger guys not being ready. So at this point, you've got to be really careful with the guys that you do have out there that they're able to finish these games and to get through the rest of the season.
Evan Blaine, Omaha World Herald, joining us. Evan, there's a couple questions pertaining to Mickey Joseph that I'm going to ask you, but the first one is, how do you interpret this situation kind of developing with Arizona State? I know they reached out to maybe have a discussion with Mickey. I don't know if that means it's going to be at the head coaching position, but obviously a team that's looking for a coach is going to have interest. And this isn't the last of coaches that are going to be fired. There's going to be another wave too. Do you think maybe this puts any type of pressure on Nebraska, or do you think they're still kind of in the same boat, just interviewing and talking to as many people as they can?
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't think this should put more pressure on Nebraska. I mean, as much as we've made of this idea that Mickey Joseph is interviewing to be Nebraska's head coach, it's also true that other schools are watching what's going on, and maybe they're taking notes. It's not just Arizona State. It's Colorado. It's all these other jobs that are open, and you're going to assess. And Mickey Joseph has a reputation as a dynamic recruiter, and now he's getting to show people nationally what he's all about as a coach and how he can inspire and what vision he might have for a program and that sort of thing. So and again, just the fact that the Arizona State has reportedly reached out doesn't mean that they're going to offer him the job, doesn't mean that anything is imminent, doesn't even mean that he's interested in the job necessarily. It just means there's been some sort of contact between representation. So I think if you're Nebraska, you kind of expect that. Your timeline, if you're Trev Alberts, to me, doesn't change or shouldn't change. I mean, it'll be sometime this month, you would think, when they'll settle on whoever that next head coach is, whether that's Mickey Joseph or somebody else. And again, you think about when a report like this comes out, typically somebody wants that information to be out there, right? And so hypothetically, and again, I don't know this, I'm just speculating, but it does not hurt Mickey Joseph to have this out there and to have this perception that he is a wanted commodity. And maybe it does give Nebraska pause down the road to say, to consider him as opposed to maybe just this default assumption that he'll fall back into being a position coach moving forward. So I think that you have to think about that too, about who wants this information to be out there and who wants it to be known. But I think the bottom line is it's not that big of a shock just based on the reputation Mickey Joseph has had and the job that he's done here, albeit with a pretty limited squad.
We got jokes on the text line here, Evan. Ryan from Nashville says, when all else fails, we can always reach out to Bo again. Well, honestly, at this point, maybe we could throw him in the group of coaches that we're looking at this point in time. Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald. Evan, going off of that then, Nebraska picks up a 3-star running back from New Orleans. He speaks highly of Mickey Joseph. Obviously, we know the situation with Malachi Coleman. Mickey playing a huge role in that too. And you got to look at him and he is the interim head coach, but he's still out recruiting. And that's a big part of the head coaching position, especially if you're at a place like Nebraska. Do you think this kind of puts him towards the top of the list, having this kind of influence on the recruiting trail?
Well, I think it's admirable and respectable, certainly what Mickey Joseph's done. I mean, a lot of these coaches, interim coaches especially, would sort of play out the string and maybe go through the motions,
right,
to finish things out because they don't think that they have the job in hand or that they're in consideration. And when you think about what Mickey Joseph's done, he's landed the commitment of Malachi Coleman before that, a top 100 recruit from Lincoln East, and then Arnold Barnes, like you mentioned, the running back out of the New Orleans area. So, that's impressive. I think it has to be considered when you talk about, evaluating him for being that next guy. He mentioned it in his Sports Illustrated article that came out, and he's talked about it in press conferences too. Just the fact that his path or his vision for getting Nebraska back to where it was starts with recruiting, and then doing it nonstop and pounding the pavement. And he's put his money where his mouth is in that respect. I mean, he's been out more than a Nebraska head coach has been on the recruiting trail in a long time, maybe ever. So I think when you think about the reality of what college football is going to be moving forward with the transfer portal, with NIL, with all the roster movement that goes into it, the skill set that Mickey Joseph has in building relationships, inspiring guys to come join him, I think can be even stronger now and more important now than it was 5 years ago. So I do think the work that he's done on the recruiting trail, it can't be the reason that you keep him in terms of trying to worry about the roster that you have. But I do think the skill set that he's shown is unique enough and valuable enough that it definitely goes into the resume when he's being evaluated.
Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald, joining us. Evan, last question I have for you before we let you go. I see that there's a big non-conference weekend tournament. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but certainly some tests for Nebraska. Minnesota, Maryland, Nebraska, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, a 6-team going to be a part of this weekend in baseball. It looks like they're loading up the top half of their schedule again. Do you think this is kind of the direction that Nebraska baseball is headed? They want to be taken more seriously.
Yeah, I mean it's a big schedule, a big weekend for them coming up, and typically it's not that unusual for them to schedule a big non-conference series like this. I mean they played Texas Tech and Oklahoma State and Arkansas last year. They played 3 against TCU, so it's pretty standard for them to pick a weekend and sort of make that their big one. So you want to have a chance against the big dogs to help your RPI, and then you have a few against what you would call probably your peers and try to build up some confidence and some wins and that sort of thing. But it is a little unusual for Nebraska to play multiple SEC teams, especially non-Arkansas SEC teams, because of the connection they had with Dave Van Horn. So yeah, I mean the chance to play Ole Miss, the defending College World Series champ, Vanderbilt, which is in Omaha all the time. Those are 2 games that, they immediately get you on the national radar if you win them. If you don't, it's early enough that you sort of get a sense of what the standard is and how far you have to go as a team. And to do it up in Minneapolis, which is a pretty cool venue, knowing that those games are going to get in because they're indoors, having a nice crowd out there. There's no doubt, like that's a really fun weekend to sort of set the stage and to see what Nebraska baseball can be with so many new faces next year.
Yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to watch because I see that this is March 3rd through 5th, and it's crazy to think that that's 4 months away now. So we're inching closer and closer to baseball season. Obviously, the focus right now, football season. But people can get both great content from you, whether it be football or baseball side. How can they do so?
Omaha.com, Twitter at Evan Bland, OWH, and man, it's not going to slow down. We got 4 weeks left of the season, but coaching search, all the off season, action that's to come. And then of course, baseball after that. So no rest. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome stuff, Evan. We appreciate you as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there he goes. Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald. Great stuff from him as always. Breaking down some baseball. That's a pretty daunting schedule for a weekend. If you're playing Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, and there's going to be another team, so who knows who that'll be. Sounds like it's not going to be an SEC school, but yeah,
it's a good thing to show where you really stand.
I mean, especially the Big Ten, sometimes a little bit weaker in baseball, so they'll show up, and it'll be interesting to see how Nebraska performs in that weekend to start out the season. We got to take a quick break. Shootout with Strick is next. Your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. 402-464-5685. That's the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Give us a call. Shootout with Strick coming up next on the block.
You want to join a team of industry leaders, a team where you can learn and grow, a team that treats you right. Well, don't hesitate to look at all the great career opportunities at Acres Equipment, the largest John Deere dealer network in Nebraska. We offer industry-leading wages, state-of-the-art benefits, and a great culture that focuses on both our customers and our employees. Find your next career opportunity at acres.com/careers.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
You finally finished your man cave in the basement. Brand new furniture, huge TV, and all of your collector's items. You're ready for football season. You were so excited until one bad rain and it is all ruined. Don't risk a flooded basement and countless dollars in damages when it can be avoided. Call
John Henry's
today for a free sump pump estimate for your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Hey guys, Nick Sadert here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Spine and Sports Chiropractic. I experienced a herniated disc in my lower back a few years ago, and thanks to the folks at Spine and Sports, I got back to feeling 100%. At Spine and Sports, they use the active release technique, which involves the soft tissue and can alleviate headaches, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, and more. What I like most about the ART method is that your doctor will construct a plan that fits your needs because the technique is not a cookie-cutter approach. Allow Spine and Sports Chiropractic to help you feel better. Set up your appointment today by giving them a call at 402-261-6841.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
October often presents all 4 seasons within 1 month. Are you and your feet prepared for the highs and lows? Stop in now to Brown Shoe Fit for a fall sale. Get $10 to $15 off any regular price shoe over $70. Save on dress shoes, athletic shoes, boots, and even hiking shoes. Brown's has great brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clarks, Hoka, Merrell, and more. Some exclusions may apply, so see store for details. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today for their fall sale, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
It's time to play the game. It's all about the game. Shootout with Strick. Your chance to win 15, count it, 1-5, $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. All you got to do is beat the Husker Hall of Famer at his own game. 5 questions for you, 5 for Strick. 4 of them are either or. The last one, it's open-ended. You got to get it right. But the benefit, it's worth 2 points. If it comes down to a tie, we will head to a sudden death tiebreaker. Strick, not your best performance yesterday.
No, it wasn't very good at all. But look, that's why it's a new day.
It is a new day. It's a new day. It's a Wednesday. Things are getting a little out of control. I was hyping you up during the commercial break. I was saying you got this. I like the underdog story, Strick, and now you're becoming the underdog after today because yesterday was rough. The fact that you honestly, I think you just had a mind blank because you knew Tennessee beat Kentucky.
I know it,
you
bro.
knew that. You knew that.
No,
it's a lot of pressure.
You have brain fog moments sometimes. Just kind of this, when you're thinking about what happened with Steve and what's the next thing. I had some NBA stuff on my mind.
Yes, you did. Well, rightfully so.
Some college stuff, and you're like, gosh darn it, I just forget about it. So much news that was out there, and you're, when you're preparing for shows like this, it's a lot to it, man. It's not just, you show up. You got a lot of news that you can jump on, break on, think about, consider.
How to articulate it.
Yeah. So
it's a lot to talk about. And as someone that played in the NBA, I can see how that'd probably be on the top of your mind. As for me, I'm just a guy that talks on the radio, so I had a little bit more focus when it comes to Shootout with Strick. So I was able to put together some pretty good questions. We're still looking for a contestant. 402-464-5685 Honda of Lincoln hotline. Your chance to win 15. Count it, 1-5. $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Literally all you have to do is beat Strick, and you will walk away with chicken. I don't even know. Does that get you? That probably doesn't get you quite 2 meals of Buffalo Wings and Rings. Probably gets like 1.5. 1.5. There you go. 1.5 servings of chicken wings. So Thomas and Lincoln was saying too that he ended up winning yesterday, and I said the first team out. Right? I don't know how I worded. I think it was the team receiving the most votes, either Texas or I don't even remember. I said Purdue or something, but he should have known Texas because Thomas and Lincoln is in fact a Texas fan. Thomas and Lincoln, I'll give you a shout out. I'll give you Longhorns a shout out. I liked what I saw from Sam Ehlinger. I think Sam Ehlinger might be all right.
You're good with it?
Well, I don't know if I'd say good. Given the circumstances, I mean, it is what it is. I think it could be worse. It could be significantly worse.
Does he take him to the promised land?
No.
Okay.
He didn't take him to the promised land. They still
is he better than Cooper Rush?
Not that, well, maybe. Not at this point in time. The problem is we've seen a lot of tape on Cooper Rush. We haven't seen Sam Ehlinger, so he could be. Is he? I have absolutely no idea. We're going to head down to Lincoln Hotline enough to talk about Sam Ehlinger. Chad, what's going on?
Not a whole lot, just working.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're tuning in. You're still able to tune in because we appreciate you listening as always. Chad, you know how this works. I'm going to have you stay on the line. We got to make sure that we get strict answers first. So you know how many points you have to get in order to win the chicken and $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Shout out to Buffalo Wings and Rings. It's very generous that they give us this every single day. Strick, are you ready? Do you want me to give you the category? You want me to give no category?
Because it's going to come out, and then the Google machine's about to start, and Chad's going to start looking everything up.
All right. Well, he might start picking it up towards the end, but I'll go ahead and just start rattling off the questions. Strick, are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. We will start in 3, 2, and 1. He leads the league in points per game. Luka Doncic or John Moran?
Luka.
That's correct. He leads the league in blocks per game. Brooke Lopez or Mitchell Robinson?
Robinson.
It's Lopez. They lead the league in points allowed per game. Raptors or Bucks?
Raptors.
It's the Bucks. They have the highest field goal percentage in the league. Hawks or 76ers?
Hawks.
It's the 76ers. They currently are last place in the Eastern Conference with only 1 win. Take your time. Yeah, plenty of time. Last place in the East.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Houston. Oh, no. Oh, my freaking gosh.
I think you could pin it between 2 now that you don't have as much pressure. Last place in the East.
It's Orlando, man. Gosh,
you even knew, Strick. Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Also, well, I guess the other ones were pretty tough. Luckily for you, though, all of them are pretty tough. No, this is going to be pretty tough.
I'm trash like they said on the text line, men's Nebraska sports right now. Fire in the trash.
Well, they did. The text line had your back yesterday, and they said to give you the win, which I didn't necessarily agree with. But I'm
my god,
the text line is will always win.
Did that?
Yeah, well,
Orlando,
that'll leave you
bro.
with what
I was actually going to talk about that too.
I know, you knew, and they have 1 win, and they are slightly above the.
I'm just a giveaway. You guys, I don't know why you guys don't call more. It's a freaking giveaway right now.
Lately, there's been a lot on your mind. We'll get into some NBA talk. Don't worry, Strick. Chad, that means that you got to get 1 point to tie, 2 to win. How you feeling?
Still not good.
All right, Chad. Well, for what it's worth, I believe in you. So, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. We will start in 3, 2, and 1. He leads the league in rebounds per game. Rudy Gobert and Nikola Vucevic.
Vucevic.
Nope, it's Gobert. He leads the league in assists per game. James Harden or Chris Paul?
Chris Paul.
That's correct. They average the most points per game in the league. The Suns or the Pelicans?
Pelicans.
That is correct. They lead the league in blocks per game. Clippers or Nets?
Nets.
That's correct. They're the only undefeated team left in the NBA.
7, 6, 5,
Milwaukee.
4.
I told you the Google machine was going to kill me. Look, there's no way. There's no way Chad can go from. I don't know. That was a good leadoff, Chad. I don't know. It freaking almost sweeps him. Way to throw the little one off, Chad. Great job.
Chad, impressive.
No Googling.
No Googling. That's right. Chad.
All complete guesses.
Impressive win.
Boom, shakalaka. Finish him. Give me a hell yeah. I said, give me a hell yeah.
Now, Chad, given the circumstances, now you can't kick him too much while he's down, but I'll give you the opportunity. You can either take the high road or you can talk trash to Strick.
No, I'll take the high road. It was all 100% guesses. I don't even watch the NBA.
Awesome. Good stuff, Chad. Make sure you hang
Congratulations.
on the
Get the chicken.
We'll have Rico make sure you get your chicken. So that'll do it.
That's unreal.
Listen. Our text line, our callers, they're people of integrity. I'm not gonna say anything, but you got the lead. I know. Tiebreaker if it went to that, Strick. OG Anunoby currently leads the league in steals. How many does he have through 7 games this season?
18.
I'll give you one of these.
Boom, shakalaka.
Well, if it would have gone to a tiebreaker, you would have finished it, so you would have had one of these.
Finish him.
So I guess it won't go to that. But I will say, Strick, maybe that will have you headed in the right direction.
Maybe that changes the whole trajectory.
That was pretty impressive.
Bad
Yep.
performance.
OG Anunoby, 18 on the season. We're going to get into some more NBA talk. This is a little bit of a segue. Buy or sell, NBA style, coming up next on the block.
October often presents all 4 seasons within 1 month. Are you and your feet prepared for the highs and lows? Stop in now to Brown Shoe Fit for a fall sale. Get $10 to $15 off any regular price shoe over $70. Save on dress shoes, athletic shoes, boots, and even hiking shoes. Brown's has great brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clarks, Hoka, Merrell, and more. Some exclusions may apply, so see store for details. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today for their fall sale, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brandt.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you can earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
You finally finished your man cave in the basement. Brand new furniture, huge TV, and all of your collector's items. You're ready for football season. You are so excited until one bad rain and it is all ruined. Don't risk a flooded basement and countless dollars in damages when it can be avoided. Call John Henry's today for a free sump pump estimate for your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
October often presents all 4 seasons within 1 month. Are you and your feet prepared for the highs and lows? Stop in now to Brown Shoe Fit for a fall sale. Get $10 to $15 off any regular price shoe over $70. Save on dress shoes, athletic shoes, boots, and even hiking shoes. Brown's has great brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clarks, Hoka, Merrell, and more. Some exclusions may apply, so see store for details. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today for their fall sale, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
This is On the Block with Strick and Nate. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
And Hokie Homer turned Husker, Nathan Brennan.
Everyone knows that I'm the smartest person here.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Nate.
A very happy Wednesday to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Nate Brennan. He's the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet, Aaron Strickland. Let's let that play a little bit. Maybe let this one play that loud in a while, Strickland. It's a good song. 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln hotline. As always, we want to hear from you. You can also check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. See what's going on here in studio. Interact with us. Share our content. All that good stuff. We appreciate every single one of you for subscribing, too. We're going for 3,000, so help us get to that goal of 3,000. As always, Strick, we're brought to you by Mary Ellen's, and you can head to Mary Ellen's today. So if you're you're having like a hump day lull, you're trying to get yourself going, get yourself ready for the rest of the day. Maybe you're getting off work early. 27th and Pine Lake, Mary Ellen's. They will hook you up with some of the best food in town. I promise you that. We're going to play a little buy or sell. So usually our buy or sell that we play just about every week is NFL, college football related, but Strick, early stages of the NBA season. Now, again, it's early, so that's why buy or sell becomes so entertaining. So I'm going to throw some questions to you. Again, as always, we want to hear from you guys too. 402-464-5685. I'll probably chime in a little bit, but who better to ask than a 9-year NBA vet, some NBA buy or sell questions. So I'll start out with this one, Strick. Kevin Durant says today that despite the slow start, he was quote-unquote shocked that Steve Nash was let go. Buy or sell that Kevin Durant was actually shocked?
I mean, that's an automatic sell. There's just no way that in the whole scheme of everything that's going on in Brooklyn right now, that in any way you can say that Kevin Durant was shocked. Not when you go to Sean Marks,
and again, that's his words too.
Yeah, when you go to the owner of the team, Joseph Tsai, and you then have a discussion about Sean Marks, who is the GM, and then also about getting rid of Steve Nash in the beginning of the season,
like a month ago.
And then you're putting you're putting basically an ultimatum on that whole thing, and then at the end of the day, now they're gone. Then your record is the way it is. It started out. I mean, maybe you could say, I didn't think he would be. I was shocked he was gone this early. So there is some kind of, playroom with that. But no, I'm selling.
Yeah, I'm going to sell that too. And I also think if you were able to appease Kevin Durant during this offseason and try and do everything in your power to make him happy, you're telling me he wasn't a part of this discussion at all? Like, I don't know if I'm buying that. Again, I could be wrong. I don't want to make accusations, but that I don't know about that.
He's the only guy you really are going to conversate with. Most people have conversations or discussions, not necessarily in those top level decisions, you know what I mean? But also with guys maybe coming, you might want to know who you would like. But he's already had the discussion with him. So at the end of the day, you look up and you're not really fond or happy with Kyrie right now just because of what's going on there. Ben Simmons has no room.
He's literally scared to shoot
for anything to discuss. So he's the only one. So there's no way that I would think that that's the case.
Yeah, maybe not even if he was part of the decision making. I would assume that he was filled in and told maybe what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I don't know about that one. So Miles Turner, center for the Pacers, goes on the Woj pod. And he's asked about the potential trade to the Lakers. And he says if he was an upper management, if he was a GM for the Lakers, he would make the move to trade for himself and Buddy Hield. Buy or sell, this deal gets done before the trade deadline.
The only way that this happens is if you really want to super sabotage the Lakers, and they really don't have any way of winning in that trade other than winning games
and
putting you towards the middle of the pack.
Yeah,
right.
It
doesn't do anything. Because guess what? Indiana's not taking that deal without a first rounder. It doesn't matter if it's
Because
a
they're in a
2027.
rebuild, but they. Oh yeah,
Right.
I agree.
The only way they're trying to really do it is because they're looking down at Orlando and they're like, wait a second, they've just got Banchero. They've just got, they've been at the bottom of the barrel for a long time. It just seems like there's no way of them coming out. They're like Jacksonville right now in the NFL. But everybody in some form or way is vying for the Victor Wembanyama stakes.
Absolutely.
So the only way Indiana is even trying to throw themselves in a hat is if they tank, and they're already bad. They're going to try to unload some extra capital.
And they have some young
onto
pieces
the Lakers.
on Indiana too.
But those guys are young in their contracts too, right? So you unload those contracts, you'll take back a Westbrook and a first rounder.
And I bet you they cut Westbrook immediately.
Exactly.
I bet they wouldn't even have him on the team.
because they want to tank. So somebody will pick up Westbrook. I still don't think it'll be a playoff team. Somebody might pick him up, and little money, a couple million, 5 million, veteran minimum millions,
right?
Something like that. Somebody will probably pick him up just as a bench guy, as long as he doesn't come in. And I'm sure there'll be some caveat to that. Yeah.
Not what he's making now. But do you think
Not
the
when
Lakers,
he's making that money.
Do
He'll
you
get
think
cut.
the Lakers make the move?
I don't see why they would, to be honest. If I'm them and we're this bad already, we're 1-5. We're terrible. I'm look, you tank it out and get rid of, keep Westbrook so you keep the money. That's the only thing. That's the only viable option the Lakers have right now is the Westbrook $47 million coming off the cap. Where they can do something next year.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's the only thing they have. They have no first rounders. They have no way to come out of the
no
doldrums.
bench.
No.
That's the thing too. Think of all the bench. I mean, you can get 3 solid bench players.
Facts
for
with
kind of
that.
money.
At
And-
$10 million.
Yeah.
10, 12
Right.
million dollars.
I mean, you can get
3,
solid
4
bench
guys.
players,
Yeah.
right, they're averaging 10, 15 a game. So that's a bit of a head scratcher. Like we said in Shootout with Strick, the Bucks now 6-0. They are still the lone undefeated team in the NBA. Buy or sell, they finished the regular season with the best record in the NBA.
I'll buy it.
Interesting.
I'll buy that they probably will finish with the best record. I like what the Suns are doing. I like what the Suns have done. We're going to get into probably that next question soon.
We will.
But I think overall, with what they're a tougher matchup problem in the league for me,
especially with Giannis.
Yeah. And then listen, Drew Holiday is a tremendous defender.
Yes.
And then they've got they've done a good job of surrounding and putting good pieces in the right types of pieces. And as long as like Middleton and those type of guys stay healthy, I think they will have a good season.
And that's kind of going into what we were saying earlier, Strick. I mean, you look at the role players on Milwaukee, and they do it as some of the best in the league. I mean, you have the George Hills, the Bobby Portis, the Brook Lopez. I mean, you have the Drew Holiday and the Giannis Antetokounmpos of the world, but you have solid role players around.
Yeah.
Them. And that's
Bobby
important.
Portis is a tremendous asset for them. Guys like you said, George Hill. I still think Pat Connaughton is underrated.
I agree.
But he's a tremendous shooter for them. And then Grayson Allen shoots. I don't know. Listen, I'm telling you, and mark my words on this, I wish I was in the NBA right now, because I am 2 to 3 times better than Grayson Allen. He's making $8.5 million.
Hey, Grayson Allen, trust me, I'm a Grayson Allen hater, but he can shoot.
But still, I can shoot. My gosh.
That is true.
$8.5 million. Lord,
is that
boy? Let me just go back in the womb, Mom. Let me find my way back into the womb.
It's $8.5
million a year, Grayson Allen. Oh yeah.
I did not realize that it was.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Grayson Allen, trust me, I stormed the court when Grayson Allen wasn't playing. If you remember that game, he got suspended for tripping the guy. They came to Virginia Tech, and he was suspended 1 game because Virginia Tech beat him at home. That was awesome.
Yeah, listen, he's averaging 9 points a game.
He starts.
He's averaging 9 points a game. I would like his rebound numbers to be a little bit higher, but they're not bad. 3.5 rebounds. But a guy at his size, I almost average 5 rebounds a game.
You were a dog, though, Strick.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, Mom, can I just find myself in what do they do? They call it reincarnation? Good God.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Can I do a reincarnation moment? And
Hey,
go back?
also, they got your boy Serge Ibaka. So
Serge is stealing.
Yeah.
Boy, guys like, listen,
I don't know
Serge
how
Ibaka,
he's still in the NBA, to be honest.
And there's a couple people that I look at right now that are absolutely stealing. And Serge is one of them. And what is my guy that has been, oh gosh, he was with the championship teams with Miami.
Udonis Haslem.
Udonis Haslem.
He is stealing.
Stealing. They stealing money.
You know, the ultimate guy that stole money, again, I'll digress after this, was Chandler Parsons. That
Oh
guy
my
stole a lot of money.
gosh.
He got like $85, something like that.
Oh.
That I don't know about that one.
My gosh.
But
Yeah,
again, you would have made a lot of money in the NBA.
Whew. Oh man, I'm sweating right now.
I know.
See, that's the type of stuff right now that I'm telling you. That's why I'm losing right now in Shootout with Strick. This is the stuff that's
it gets to you. Well, I don't
twerking
blame
me,
you.
irking me.
Well, I think I know how you're going to answer this one, Strick. But the Suns currently the top seed in the West. I would probably interpret the West as being the better conference. In the East, buy or sell. Chris Paul gets his first ring this year. Suns are a solid team.
I mean, they've got great young pieces. I think the West is just so tough.
It's
man.
stacked.
I really do. And for them to come out of the West, I find it hard. I find it hard for me to think of them being the ones. And so I'm gonna sell.
Gonna sell.
Who would do that with me? Do 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line. Tell me, or on the stream, do you think Chris Paul gets the ring this year? I don't. I like I'm saying, we can just go up and down it. I mean, we can go through the conference.
I think this is the most wide open the NBA has ever been, to be honest with you. You think so? Look at the Lakers, meh. The Nets, meh. Who else? I mean, look at the top of the East. It's Milwaukee and Cleveland. The top of the West is Portland and Phoenix.
And Portland is a surprise. That is
I don't
an
know
absolute
if that's
surprise.
gonna hold.
Then you've got Utah there.
Utah's trying to tank,
and they're trying to give it away because of all the assets they've got. But just think, if they hold them, if they're playing this good and they hold them, develop those guys. Shoot, go for it.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
You get rid of
San Antonio's
Rudy
trying to
Gobert. I know. You get rid of Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, and you're sitting at 6-2 and 3rd in the West. Again, I don't know how much that's going to say. I mean, you got to look at a team like the Clippers.
Yeah, that's
isn't even
crazy.
in the play-in right now.
That's crazy. This is crazy.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying.
Even the Warriors.
It's wide open. Oh, I
You
know.
got the Warriors, the Clippers, and the Lakers, and the team that you got to be feeling sad for is Houston. Because no matter what they do,
they're just trash.
They're just trash. No matter who they draft, what they bring in, who they sign, who they give away, they're still trash.
Yeah, well, you can throw the Kings into that too, because the Kings got Domantas Sabonis, and I thought they were going to actually do something because they got Keegan Murray too, and I was like, you know what, this team might be decent.
Yeah, so between them and Orlando,
yeah,
they haven't been able to figure it out.
They're always bad. Well, you mentioned the Golden State Warriors, so that'll be my next buy or sell. So the Golden State Warriors missed the playoffs, but this is what I mean by missing the playoffs, that you will have to be in the play-in game. So the Warriors will not be a top 6 seed in the West. Buy or sell?
I'm buying.
Ooh, I did not expect you to answer that way. Talk to me.
This is why I'm buying it. I knew that when that Draymond and Poole situation happened, I knew that was going to change the dynamics. Now, listen, it can happen, but I don't think it does happen until after the All-Star break. Or
you think someone gets moved?
Or I think somebody gets moved. And I don't think it's Poole. I think they're going to try to move Draymond. And
you taking on that contract? I'm not taking on that contract.
But it's an expired. Well, it's an expiring. Wait, does he? No, he opted in this year. So it's an expiring contract,
right?
That you can actually, take on. Now, the problem with that is, I don't think it's going to be it would have to be a playoff team because you wouldn't want to lose his value. But who would that be? I'm still kind of up in the air on that. I'm a little bit perturbed that I wouldn't send him to a non-veteran team. because if he goes into a young chemistry team, he could disrupt that chemistry, Draymond Green. So that's the part that when you've got to kind of
like
let this play off,
or like the Spurs,
you've got to let it play off. It's got to be somebody that has an alpha on it. Maybe Denver, where Jokic is there, or
maybe like a Philly.
That couldn't happen.
You
Not
got a
unless
couple
they
vet
would have
guys.
to
You got
cut
a
him.
couple vets.
They would have to cut him, and then he pick him up because they're way over the cap with their whole situation.
Maybe like a
they have
Boston?
Tobias Harris.
A Boston, maybe.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, the thing is, too, we've talked
Why
about
not?
this, Strick. The only problem with Draymond Green is that I think his personality, it's not
It's
his game.
conflictory.
It's the personality that
Yes.
you would have to be dealing with. So
Yes, it's conflictory.
That's interesting, Strick. I didn't think you were going to say that, but as it stands right now, the Warriors would be out of the playoffs entirely. They're sitting at 3-5 on the season, which is certainly haven't won a road game.
They don't really have nowhere that they can go. They've been a tremendous road team over the last few years. So that's what's really surprised. I think what they're surprised at, and I think this is what's going to hurt their situation, is Klay Thompson. I think if they're going to do anything and make a run, they may want to try to move Klay. Klay is not playing at the same level, and it will be a conflict between Jordan Poole, Wiggins, who they just re-signed. They're giving him the bag.
Right.
I would allow somebody to take on the next level of a bag for them, as opposed to having to have that option, and it's going to hurt. Everybody's going to be upset.
Yeah.
But that is your best way of acquiring more assets, tools, to push you over and make you better. Maybe get some more experience and size. I like Wiseman. I like what they're doing. I still think Looney is undersized. I think Draymond's going out and not, he doesn't have the same effect. His rebound numbers right now is only 6. He normally is up in that 8-9 region. So he's got some tapering off on that. So yeah, I think Klay's the best aspect for you to get some resources.
And it's sad too, because I think Klay Thompson, a lot of it's just injuries. I mean, he has just been crushed by injuries, and it's tough to, especially
you get old,
because he's getting older. I mean, he's in his 30s now, so it's a little bit interesting to see what'll happen with that. 2 more for you, Strick. The second to last one I got for you. The Cavs are sitting at 5-1. And keep in mind, Darius Garland
is
has
not
played
playing. One game.
13 minutes of the first game of the season.
One game.
It sounds like he's going to be coming back. Donovan Mitchell just seamlessly fitting into that Cavs team. They'll finish as a top 3 seed in the East.
When Darius gets back, I buy.
The Cavs look legit.
They look good. And listen, here's what you're missing. Think of what Brooklyn feels like right now. They gave up tremendous assets. Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, all on this team, young talent, up and coming, and these young men are getting it done.
And you got some vets like Kevin Love too. And I think you always talk about Strick having those vets on the team. I mean, I know he's only averaging
playing
12
20 minutes a game,
but that's important.
That's good for him.
That's what you want though, as a vet, a guy that's won a championship, a young team, a guy that isn't going to cause issues like a Draymond Green.
Yeah.
They look good, Strick.
The winner of that trade was definitely Cleveland, I think.
Oh yeah.
And the reason being, Donovan Mitchell is a problem. And I think he's happy. He's in a good space. He's averaging 32 points a game.
He is there. He is the guy.
Almost
and
2
there's
steals.
No
He's that guy.
discrepancy.
There's no discrepancy. So when Garland returns, that's going to be solid. He's averaging, he's leading in 3 of the major categories right now for this team, which is crazy. And then you take away just some of the ball handling stuff and just allow him to rest. And as you get later in the season when Garland comes back, the other awesome thing about this Cleveland team is there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 guys in double figures. So that's balance. Donovan Mitchell's, they're scoring a lot.
Yeah.
They're scoring a lot of points. So Donovan's averaging 32. Evan Mobley's averaging 15. We're not even accounting for Darius Garland,
who hasn't played.
That's what I'm saying. Karis LeVert's 15. Jared Allen, who is just a center rebounding.
Give me 12 and 12.
He's doing well. Kevin Love is being ready. He can spot up. He can still knock down shots and jumpers. He still rebounds solidly for this team. and then
He's a vet.
Seti
He's a vet in
Osman,
the locker room. Yeah.
and then Dean Wade. These guys are playing great type of basketball, which is not a style of play that's usually in the Eastern Conference. It's usually a Western Conference style, and they're doing it in the Eastern Conference. That's why.
But I know you
buying.
like that style of
I like
basketball. I know you've always talked about kind of the team-oriented aspect of playing the game because, like you said, I mean, they got a lot of guys scoring double digits. It's not just Donovan Mitchell. Last one I got for you. Luka Doncic is, as of right now, the favorite to win the MVP. So buy or sell, he wins his first MVP.
If they don't start winning games, no. But I would say I think they're still better than what they're showing right now. So I would buy that he wins it. He's one of the most unstoppable guys.
He is unbelievable.
There's just no one can handle it.
It really is unbelievable what he's doing. I feel like there's a highlight every single night that he plays. So that last one, I'll buy. I think they're getting a little bit tired of giving it to Giannis and Jokic, so I think they throw Luka Doncic into that mix. But that'll do it. Buy or sell right here on the block. Maybe I do that some more often, Strick. That was pretty fun doing some NBA buy or sell. We're going to talk some Mickey Joseph next. ASU has reached out. Which teams are next? Stay with us on the block. 93.7 The Ticket.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bakoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Quilliers, and Brandt Excavating.
You finally finished your man cave in the basement. Brand new furniture, huge TV, and all of your collector's items. You're ready for football season. You were so excited until one bad rain and it is all ruined. Don't risk a flooded basement and countless dollars in damages when it can be avoided. Call
John Henry's
today for a free sump pump estimate for your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go Big Red!
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals. October often presents all 4 seasons within 1 month. Are you and your feet prepared for the highs and lows? Stop in now to Brown Shoe Fit for a fall sale. Get $10 to $15 off any regular price shoe over $70. Save on dress shoes, athletic shoes, boots, and even hiking shoes. Brown's has great brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clarks, Hoka, Merrell, and more. Some exclusions may apply, so see store for details. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today for their fall sale, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Join us on Friday from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game On the Block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the Ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
This is Jay Stoll with American Senior Benefits. Tune in to our show, the American Senior Benefits Family Hour, Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. We'll help you navigate the tricky world of insurance options for seniors and others in need, as well as talk about how you can get involved. We'll see you this Sunday morning at 7 a.m.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back on the block. E. Strick here and Nate Brennan on the block. 93.7 Ticket, theticketfm.com. We always thank and appreciate you for joining in, tapping in, and chiming in on the lines, both Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We always love your responses there. We also like that the text line gets hot at 402-464-5685 because the block is hot. We appreciate all of you guys once again, and you listeners also on the radio. We appreciate that as well. Now, we're going to tap in on Nebraska football. We're going to go back to Nebraska football. We just came off a basketball segment. Strick is taking L's like crazy.
Oh, Strick.
On Shoot Hour Strick, man. If you want some free chicken right now, you better get it while it's hot, because right now Strick is in a downtrodden moment. You gotta step on him when he's down. And this is one of the things I talked about, Nate, with the basketball team. It's like, one of the things with basketball is when you get an opponent on the ropes, it's no different than boxing or some other sport where you have them on the ropes, right? In football, if you have a team on the ropes, you normally pound it on them. You continue to just keep grinding on them and running the ball and then getting first downs. And that's how you beat the brakes off of a team, is in the time of possession and continuously moving. In basketball, in baseball, it's the same. It's just being smart, timely hitting, great defense. And then all of a sudden the pitching kicks in. You're good behind them, and you end up winning a baseball game. Tough to do it as far as beat somebody down because it's really some timing on that stuff.
Right.
But in basketball, it's a game of runs. It's whoever maximizes the runs the most in a game, and those who minimizes the height of the runs and the time frame on how long those runs exist. So if it's an 11 or 15-0 run, you don't want it to be a drought for 10 plus minutes, because then you're losing possession time and there's not enough time to make up for it.
Right.
So that's how it works in basketball. So I'm looking at the basketball team, and one of the things that sometimes we get we get in trouble with is we start taking bad shots and jumpers, and you think that you hit this three. This is going to be the three that's going to break their back, and it's not. And you turn the ball over, and
dumb shots,
just dumb stuff, turnovers, bad possessions, just stuff like that, which leads to, and that's kind of what happened with the basketball team when they went to Colorado. Now, here's a situation in football. I think that we cause sometimes our own problems, and a lot of it has to do with time of possession, and it has to do with situations that don't allow the team to be in good position. In this last game, it was turnovers. There's just no
turnovers just killed.
There's just no way you can beat a good football team with that kind of defense by turning the ball over, because then they can unload on you. They know you've got to pass. You've got to keep teams like that in balance. You know what I'm saying? So you can't do that.
Especially turning it over on your side of the field.
Exactly.
I mean, that
it puts too much stress on the
kills
defense
you.
that isn't already that
Right.
good. Right?
Right.
So here's the situation we find ourselves in. Mickey Joseph, I thought if he could have won this game, it would have put him in a tremendous situation to make a run.
I think they might have hired him on spot
for the
honestly.
coaching job.
I
That
agree.
could have been something for him. Now that's not the case. So to you, did Mickey lose a job from that game?
I'm not going to say one game is going to lose them the job. But here's the situation that I think it becomes a little bit dicey, Strick, is that you had the solid wins over Indiana and Rutgers. Again, we have said extensively, I don't care who it is in the Big Ten. If you beat a team in the Big Ten, especially on the road, like against Rutgers.
Indiana beat Illinois.
And exactly. If you win a game in the Big Ten, it is a solid win. It's a resume builder. The problem is now we've talked about this entire season. You can even throw Scott Frost into this discussion. When you get to the end of the season, that's going to decide what happens. It's going to define the season, and it's going to define his candidacy and how he ranks among the job seekers, among whoever is interviewing. This is going to be tough. I could see Nebraska going 3-1 over this stretch. I could see them going 2-2. I could see them going 1-3. I could see them not winning another game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the only issue that I have with this Illinois game, and especially how it unfolded, Casey gets hurt, you lose by almost 20 points. You've put so much pressure on the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because whether it's fair or not, I think a lot of this evaluation is going to be winning and losing. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's college football. And I think this team has taken leaps and bounds steps in the right direction. I think the recruiting still has looked solid. And it seems like the kids seem to like Mickey Joseph. And I know a lot of people on the text line don't like when we say that. Listen, they're the guys in the locker room. They're the guys that have to take orders from him every day. His relationship is important. But at the end of the day, if you're sitting here at the end of the season and say you do lose out, I mean, that's what, 6 straight losses at the end of the season.
And you end up 3-9 again.
And then you end up 3-9 again. Say you beat a team like Iowa. Is that enough to put on your resume to get you the job?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Right.
And I think this game could have a huge impact on the decision. Again, Minnesota's no joke. We've talked to Jay about this. Minnesota's got a good defense. They've got a good running game, which just like Illinois, but they got a great running game, and they're very well coached.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota's no slouch. Like, Minnesota's a 15-point favorite for a reason. I think if Mickey wins this one, we're having a completely different discussion. I'm just worried that Illinois game and the way that it happened, it's going to be a little bit tough to recover from.
Wow.
It's crazy because after that game, both of us said, you might as well just hire him on the spot if they beat Illinois. It didn't look great.
It didn't look good. But there's just so many other aspects that sometimes get overlooked. And I think that's one of them. What you said is internal.
Yes.
What you don't see, right? There's a lot of that stuff. Because here's the thing, right? And look, don't please text line or everybody don't think that I'm really just throwing this out here. Could people have been looking at Brett Bielema the same way last year with what they started with, the way that they looked? Yes, they beat Nebraska, but Nebraska's bad, but they didn't do very well.
They struggled.
They struggled immensely. Brings in a nice young defensive coordinator, gives him his first year, and the next year he gets it together.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's tough. I don't think people understand how tough it is to take over a regime, to have an you can just don't even look at it from a standpoint of just sports. Let's just take out sports as a whole.
Right.
Look at it from a standpoint of life, in business, in running a country, running a state, Just think of how the transformation of a regime, what it can do, whether it be in the short term, the long term, or whatever the term
But the
is.
expectation is always for you to turn it around quickly.
Especially where
That's
there's an expectation,
right?
But just how hard that is. You have a culture that was built very casual, very, and a regime comes in and it becomes very strict and at your desk and how
structured.
Some things can change the dynamic. Yes, that free will, all that aspect made for a great business atmosphere.
Right.
But did it translate into money? Did it translate into sales? Did it translate? So sometimes a regime change coming in and shit. Yeah. But it's tough to do that in the middle of any type of a season, whether it be in the middle of your fiscal year, whatever that is, right? That's the way I look at this. This is tough. It's tough to come in and make a change, make adjustments after you've been trained one way. You've done things this way. This has been acceptable in the past. That just makes it tough when you're trying to come in and now I'm saying, nah, you need to change that. Nah, you can't do that. Nah, it's a mentality that has to change. And that only can happen over time. And that's the way I look at it.
Especially, too, you got to think these kids went into this season with an entirely different expectation, coaching staff, culture, whatever word you want to use there. They go into this season with that. And then right when it starts, it's flipped.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Mickey Joseph has made internal changes within the coaching staff.
Right.
It's just a lot to be thrown at.
And another point is, we thought that it was all cap or all just spouting of the mouth.
Right.
That's what that means, all cap. Spouting of the mouth when Adrian Martinez went down to Kansas State and said, the culture in here is tremendously different than what.
Yeah.
We thought that was cap.
Right.
We thought that was just him spouting.
This guy.
Yeah, stop it. But wait a minute. Now you look at it. You look at what's going on down there in Kansas State, you got to say, was he lying? Was he telling, I can make an inference that he's telling the truth.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see Kansas State's roster being that's much
what
better
I'm
than
saying.
Nebraska.
Even from last year.
Right.
That's a tremendous turnaround that they made.
Kansas State looks good. I mean, they smacked Oklahoma State. They shut them out.
Yes.
That's a good point.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a good point.
So those are the things when listen, when I played with the Dallas Mavericks, right? The talent was not the problem. Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn, Jimmy Jackson, they were the original big three. Right? All young, all up and coming, all balling, right? But the culture sucked.
Right.
I mean, we would get in the elevator and it would be more about where we're going, what time can we get there, when are we gonna do when we arrive. I'm like, wait a minute, did y'all just see we just took this freaking 20-point L? Like, I'm like, are y'all serious right now? Like, I'm going in the room and going to sleep and thinking about what we can do better tomorrow.
Beside yourself.
Yeah, I'm beside myself when I think about it, right? So then you have to unload, dump the bad mentality. It's not the talent. Sometimes you got to dump bad mentality. You got to ship them out and away.
Right.
You get in new fire, new energy, new hunger, and then you bring in a new group. And even though that group struggled, but you can start to see progression. That's what you're seeing at Nebraska. Look, no matter how bad they come up short. We lost many a games to start my season in my third year. Dirk was his third year. We're all just young trying to find our way. And then Nash comes in. He's struggling a little bit. Nash was my backup. A lot of people don't know that. Like, he came behind me. So you have all this stuff. Then you start to see us turning the corner.
Yeah.
The second half of that season in 1999 was, you can see, we're on the verge. We're about to break through. I get traded. They still break through because the culture, the mentality has shifted.
Changes.
That's what I'm seeing is trajectory. I'm seeing upward trajectory. I'm not going to say Mickey's the guy. I'm just still seeing upward trajectory. Where that all ends up depends on whoever takes over, if Mickey stays or whoever takes over and is able to encapsulate that and turn that culture into a firebomb, into a fist, and take it from 5 fingers to a fist, create power, then you'll win games. That's the only way I see it happening.
And it's so interesting too, because you talk about Mickey Joseph taking over now. I mean, you could make the argument that he didn't. I mean, yeah, he's in the interview process, but if you gave Mickey Joseph the reins of the program for 3 years, I think your result would look a little bit different. Because he hasn't really gotten a chance to develop his guys,
right,
get his guys in the door,
right,
recruit his team. I mean, he hasn't been given
He's
that.
1 year in one room.
Right.
And helping other rooms.
And not even a
not
year.
Even a year.
Not even
really
a full
came,
year.
Yeah, not even a full year.
Not even a full year. So it's interesting. I've got a follow-up question, Strick. We'll get to it after the break. What would it mean if Mickey does get a head coaching job at a state at a place like Arizona State? How do we react as a fan base? How does the program react? What does that mean? We'll talk about that next, right here on the block. 93.7 The Ticket.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
Casey's General Stores is giving away 2 tickets to each Nebraska football home game this season. To enter, just head to any Casey's General Store location in Lincoln during the football season, scan the QR code at the front counter, and fill out the online form. One winner will be chosen at random 2 days before that week's game. So head over to Casey's, stock up on all your tailgating snacks and drinks, and register to win 2 tickets to a Nebraska football game, brought to you by Casey's General Store and 93.7 The Ticket.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you could earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the Ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
Join us on Fridays from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game on the block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
This is Jay Stoll with American Senior Benefits. Tune in to our show, the American Senior Benefits Family Hour, Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. We'll help you navigate the tricky world of insurance options for seniors and others in need, as well as talk about how you can get involved. We'll see you this Sunday morning at 7 a.m.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Warm and windy here for your Wednesday. We could see near record warmth as we'll see a high of 79. South winds could gust 35 to 40. A few passing clouds this afternoon, a few lingering clouds tonight, a low down to 58. We'll see a high tomorrow of 75 with a chance of evening thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. For November, they have tons of fall seasonals, and you can check out their Oscar Blues, Nebraska Brewing Company, and Broken Bat Brewing Company selections as their beers of the month. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket. My name's Nate Brennan. He's the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. 402-464-5685. Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. As always, we want to hear from you. Having a great discussion to end the last break. Here in a second, we'll take a station ID. We'll cross it over into old school because Strick and I will be hanging around here for the next couple segment while we wait for Jay Foreman. He'll be in here. Don't worry. He'll break all these things down that he always does. But you're going to hear a little bit more of me and Strick. So, Strick, let's get into it. We talked about Mickey possibly getting the head coaching role, what the season has to happen, play out, how the team has progressed throughout the season. My question to you is, we know Arizona State's reached out under some type of capacity. Now we don't know if they've sent an offer. We don't know what that looks like. All we know is they've tried to get in touch with him. Other jobs are going to open up. Other Power 5 jobs, other Group of 5 jobs. These jobs are going to open up, and he is going to get contacted. This proves it. How do you interpret
you say Power
that?
5 and Group
of 5.
Group of
I mean,
5.
you're gonna have
have
schools reaching out to him. Now it'll probably be different roles, different type of capacities. But
No, I feel
my
you.
question to you: how, as a fan base, or how as a program, do we interpret that? If you let a Mickey Joseph, who again has taken over, has been an interim head coach since week 3, who's been in the program before, who has obviously taken steps in the right direction. How do we interpret like that?
Well, I think personally that it's understandable that you would pursue or look elsewhere. Here's the situation that I have. Where do you fit on the totem pole of what the coaching carousel is going to present, right? There's a lot of coaches that have gotten let go.
And it's going to keep happening.
From good Power 5s, they've gotten let go. Are you saying you're going to pick them up after they just failed in another situation? Okay. Did Mickey really fail? That's the question you've got to ask. Did he really fail?
I didn't even think about it like that.
Right? You got to think about that. Did he really fail? So you got to weigh that. Then you've got to look at what coach would be out there, because again, say Mel Tucker gets canceled, say Jimbo Fisher gets canceled. Those type of guys are coming off of tremendous income that they're making, big salaries. So you've got that. So you find yourself in a very similar position. You've got your Matt Rules and guys like that out there, or you're going to have to try to get someone from a Power 5, from probably a conference that's kind of teetering on the balance, so to speak, your Big 12s, your Pac 12s, and you've got to try to pull them away, which you can with money. But then are you going to find yourself in a Jimbo Fisher, Mel Tucker situation? So that's what you're really looking at. So you're either looking at the next 5 type of guys, pulling somebody in that really doesn't have somebody, but you've got one right here.
Exactly. And that's
so you've got all these little things, these little nuances, because I don't think you're at the top of the totem pole. And listen, as much as I'm a Nebraska fan, and as much as you guys are huge Nebraska fans, and we would love to think that we're still in the 90s, we're not. So where do you fit on the totem pole of who's coming out and why would they choose you?
Yeah.
They got to make a choice to choose you.
That's part of the biggest question, too. We're going to take a station ID real quick, and then we're going to go to the head Honda of Lincoln hotline and get James on the live. So just give us 10 seconds here.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket.
All right, James, thank you for hanging in there for the station ID. We'll bring him in. James on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. What's on your mind today?
Hey, guys. I just kind of got in the car, so I don't know if you mentioned this, but Strick, something you said made me think of this. You know, I'm not anti-Mickey, and I'm not sold on Mickey yet, but I will say this. What Trev has to decide is this is not just a football X's and O's decision, but it's also a business decision. It's a leadership decision. And so for those people out there who are like, oh, well, Mickey doesn't have the resume. I'm like, he's got a resume since longer than you've been alive. Like he's been a coach and a leader since 95 or whenever he started Omaha North. And so I'm thinking if you're looking at this from a business and a leadership perspective, Mickey would actually be a fantastic choice. I also happen to think he'd be a great X's and O's coach and a developer. So that's all I got to say. Again, thanks for the perspective, Strick. I think it's huge, and I hope fans remember that.
Amen, James. Thanks for
this. Trev gets closer to decision making.
Thanks, James.
Appreciate you, James. Thank you for the call.
That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It goes beyond, because there's so much
inside
stuff
the locker room, like you said.
Sometimes it's internal. You can't see it.
Right.
And there's so much to this that it's not just it's so easy for us to just look on the field and just immediately making a decision or make an assumption onto what you see, right? There's certain coaches that handle guys on the field and on the court differently than they handle somebody in the locker room. There's certain guys that handle it a little bit differently. Here's what I think Mickey has that you've seen in like a Deion Sanders or like a Dave Aranda is the ability to connect, relate, translate,
bingo,
and get the most out of what you've been given. I think he has that. So whether that turns into Nebraska becoming a powerhouse again, that's yet to be seen. But he does have, as James spoke about as well, he does have qualities that go beyond what you or any perspective that you may have on him in the short amount of time that you had a chance to see him.
And that's part of it too, Strick. And you talk about that. You look inside the locker room, you think about what the kids are saying. I mean, they all speak incredibly highly of Mickey Joseph. And I brought this up and I'll bring it up again too. These coaches that have left and been let go, you have kids flood for the transfer portal. You had one. When Mickey Joseph took over in week 3, you had one enter the transfer portal. And everyone else has responded with flying colors about Mickey Joseph. And it just makes you think, like,
we can talk about it, like you said, from the outside perspective, but something's happening inside the locker room, and he's able to connect to these kids, or else they wouldn't be responding the way they do.
Yeah.
And I think it's more so, again, I know Mickey's been given a chance, and this is an interview process, and this is, you have to take advantage of what you've been dealt and all that, but like, he hasn't been given a chance with his regime, with his guys, with his recruits, with his program. Like, this is still Scott's program.
Exactly.
And people forget that.
Even the coaches, most of them.
I mean, this is Scott's program that was built. And right, wrong, or indifferent, Mickey Joseph's been dealt it.
Yep.
And it's, how do you respond to that?
I bet you some of the people that are listening right now, they play a game, I'm sure, called poker. In playing poker, you are dealt a hand. Sometimes that hand consists of no face cards and a bunch of, so you have to put on a good face. You have to kind of take it all in, act like you may have the best hand of your life. And then you may have to distribute a few cards, throw them in, ask the dealer to give you 2, 3, maybe 4. And you've got to see what the next hand's going to be dealt to you. And then no matter what hand you're given, you're going to have to play it. And you're going to have to play it, not with what you have. You got to play it with what your mind, or what your face, or your bluffs, or whatever the case is. That's how you play your hand. Right now, they're just playing the hand that they've been dealt. So the face that they're putting on is, is good, is success, is happy. But here's the tangible of what the hand that you've been given, that you're gonna take on now. Here's the direction of that. Malachi Coleman, he's one of the top recruits in the country, and a lot of people wanted him.
And he's right in your backyard.
Right in your backyard. And he's already kind of put it out there that he's not coming to Nebraska.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, see, that's the stuff you miss. That's the stuff you miss. There's a reason. It ain't the winning. It ain't the them putting up big numbers. It wasn't a big win against a Michigan or something. He happened to be in the building.
No.
So it's got to be something else. And that's why I say it's other stuff that makes this a little bit different than just the normal what you see type of wins and loss situation.
And this is what John and Cortland says, and this is kind of what I was alluding to. Say another school is able to get a Mickey Joseph. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Say Mickey Joseph does go to Arizona State. Again, this is all speculation. All we know is that he's been reached out to. This is completely speculative, and I'm just throwing a scenario out there. Say Mickey Joseph gets the head coaching job at Arizona State. Say we're sitting here in 5 years, and Arizona State is competing for playoff bids, competing for conference championships, whatever may have you. Say Nebraska gets it wrong. And again, this is a completely hypothetical.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is going to happen, because Arizona State, I would say, is a tougher place to win than Nebraska.
Facts.
And I think that Nebraska, if they're going to move on from Mickey Joseph, it'll be a big name hire. But say that's the scenario. How angry and frustrated at you? Because I'm telling you right now, if you let Mickey walk and you're not offering him now, he balls out at Arizona State. I would be shocked if you were able to get him to come back.
It's going to pay a premium.
It's going to pay a large premium. A large
That's
premium.
what I'm saying. There's so many ways you can get him right now that ain't going to be premium.
Exactly.
That's why I'm like, man, this. So, okay, like you just said, go out there and miss. And I threw this out there. You end up with a Jimbo Fisher or a Mel Tucker situation. Now, you didn't pay this guy. You didn't already spent $15 million to get rid of one.
Right.
So even if you have him on a 3-year, you've got him probably at a 3-year on a lower tier with probably heavy bonus laden, which he has bonuses. I think Trev, they put out that he has bonuses placed in it right now. You continue a heavy bonus laden that can maybe take you from 3 to 4 up to maybe 6, 7 in bonuses, meaning you get to a bowl game, you win a bowl game, you win the conference next year, which they would have a chance to do. The heavy bonuses on that 250,000 types, where you get a couple million if you hit a couple of those bonuses, right? you lead the conference in rushing, or you could throw a whole bunch of bonuses.
All
laden
Big
stuff.
Ten player. I don't know.
You know what I'm
something
saying?
Like that.
So that's what I'm saying, man. You can end up throwing something away if he goes away, like you just said, and balls out, and you pay somebody a premium. And then you've got to try to get out of that in another 2-3 years. If you just could have waited,
beg him to come back.
You're gonna have to pay a $7-8 million.
The best way I want to compare this is, say it's like maybe this isn't the best comparison because people are very critical of Kirk Cousins, but look at Kirk Cousins. The Washington football team, formerly the Redskins at the time, they could have gotten Kirk Cousins, I don't know, 10, 15 mil a year. They just kept franchise tagging him, kept letting him stick around. Someone else paid him, and that team's now 6-1. The thing is with Mickey Joseph, I'm not saying it's a head coaching job, but people are taking note what he's doing.
Yeah,
Mickey Joseph is going to get offers, and they're going to be. Trust me, this Arizona State situation isn't the first discussion he's going to have.
No,
it's
even if he went to like a Buffalo or a South Florida or somewhere like that, or UCF or somewhere.
And look where that gets you.
Yeah,
the head coaching job at Nebraska.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
and I'm just saying, if you're Nebraska, and if this is the scenario that plays out, that's just a tough pill to swallow, man. And again, it could go the complete opposite way. You could get a home run hire. Mickey Joseph could go somewhere else. I'm not entirely sure. We don't know how it's going to play out. I'm just saying, you have an opportunity now where Mickey Joseph has already established himself at the university as the interim head coach, and you could have a seamless transition. You could.
Yeah. Because the other coach may come in and just absolutely unload the bank. Now you got to start over with whole new coaches. And I bet you a ton of people hit the transfer portal.
Absolutely.
There's no question.
And I don't know if that's a reason to retain a guy.
Right.
But
you're really starting over.
Be nice.
So now you're 3-4 more years down the road.
Again. Lots happening. There's a lot of thoughts. We're going to stick around for a little bit longer. Me and Strick on Old School. We're going to talk some college football playoff rankings are out. Another heated discussion coming up right here. 93.7 The Ticket.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help.